Let's maximise the productivity of our John Deere cotton pickers. The round module building cotton picker sure has revolutionised picking in Australia. But even brand new, there are some simple things we can do to really optimise that machine and get much greater value from it. This is my third edition of Aussie Ready, which is full of free tips and tricks. But I'm clearly going to take the opportunity to plug my one-day operator training course. You can have a perfectly set up machine, but an operator without adequate training is not going to get the maximum value from that picker. A lot of you have done the tips from previous years. The big one is always sealing the gaps and trimming the air hoses supplying the chutes. With the CP770, we've been piping that breather out of the engine bay and plating that handler, among other things. After spending 2 seasons on the road visiting hundreds of pickers, I've got 2 new tips to add. One is a safety issue on the older machines, and one might save you a bucket load of money. Let's get into it. I've seen this on a few 7760s. They must have been delivered as 36-inch machines, and now they're on 40-inch spacings. The 6-inch air hose can interfere with the steps, making it a risk that you could miss your footing and fall. This machine has the Venturi nozzles supplied from the outside of the chutes on heads 1 and 6. Whereas this normal machine has the nozzles swapped. Heads 1 and 6 have their supply hoses delivering to the inside of the chutes. If you have one of these machines that needs them swapping, you shouldn't need any new parts, just a simple swap of those Venturi nozzles between heads 1 and 6. I reckon all the hoses will fit, they'll just likely need quite a trim shorter. When the cogs wear out on the round module builder drive system that uses that duplex chain, you can see this one is stuffed because of those big gaps there. The driven side is easily replaced with the John Deere cog, but the drive side, according to John Deere, requires replacement of the entire hydraulic motor assembly, which is north of $10,000. Lots of people have reported that if you buy another new driven cog and a seal kit, take the motor with the worn cog to a good engineering shop, they can disassemble, weld the new cog onto the shaft, put a seal kit through the motor, and away you go for a fraction of the price. So we've talked about that ladder safety issue and the round module builder drive sprockets. The rest of Aussie Ready I have talked about in the previous years, improving that air system on all machines, sealing the chutes, trimming the 6 and 3-inch hoses, really good bar heights, and replacing those baler belt pins in the pre-season. And then specifically for the CP and CS 770s, piping that engine breather out of the engine bay, plating that handler plate, particularly when you're picking in irrigation furrows, getting those wrap floor pulleys correct, and fitting a high volume solution strainer is just such a help. We can get that machine brilliantly set up, but without a safe and skilled operator, it just won't perform to its potential. For the 3rd year in a row, Cotton Picker Essentials will be coming to a shed near you, from Emerald in the north to Colliambley in the south and everywhere in between. It's a one-day course just before picking in your shed or one nearby. It's video based and really easy to understand for people who didn't love school and for workers who English is their second language. I think it's a no-brainer that new operators and your less experienced people attend, but many clients are making my training their annual pre-season induction for everyone involved in picking, from managers to operators through to the service crew. Being able to show real field conditions in the pre-season has been a game changer. Being able to upskill that team before the machines hit the paddock so that you really can hit the ground running when that crop is ripe. There's 3 very good reasons to send even experienced operators. It serves as a thorough safety induction for cotton picking. It will improve anyone's ability to handle a picker fire, and improved productivity quickly pays for the course. After decades of operating cotton pickers and managing harvests on cotton farms around Murrumbidgee, I've personally made all of the videos while operating a picker. The course was made for the CP770 but has been modified to suit the 7760 and the CP690s. The 5 components of the course are the safety induction, talking about cotton picker specific issues like working at heights and entanglement in the spindles, to using the stops and locks properly, and also has a section on what to do if you hit power lines. There's a discussion of the more general safety topics that I call silent killers. They are fatigue, rushing, complacency, and distraction. The second component is all about preparing that machine for the day and the season, recommended tools to carry to reduce downtime, and includes a section on managing picker fires. Each year we lose pickers unnecessarily to fires due to inadequate training. The third part is all about operator excellence, relentless productivity through mastery level turns, height management, moisture management and speed management to reduce door blocks and pick lots of hectares. Section 4 is about the round module builder and that wrap system. Wrap problems and misfeeds can lead to broken modules, which are very costly and disruptive and a pain in the ass. Understanding that round module builder and the wrapping system right from the start is the best way to reduce those problems. The final section is about maintenance, with a big focus on a really effective blowdown to prolong component life, keep that machine running, and to also prevent fire risk. As a safety induction for your team, a refresher for your experienced operators, and essential knowledge for those new to cotton picking, can you afford not to send the team to a Cotton Picker Essentials Day near you? Here's to getting that 2025 crop off in a safe and efficient manner. Okay, let's get on with the rest of it. Here's those tips for improving the air system on any cotton picker. I've just spent a few days driving this machine and I had to limit my ground speed in good cotton, but nothing spectacular. And it's just not optimized. This nozzle here still has big air gap. Yeah, these nozzles, they get a huge gap in here. Some of them from pre-delivery. And if we don't seal that up, it lets cheap air get in there instead of pulling it through past the picker heads like we want it to. It'd be like drilling holes in the suction of your vacuum cleaner. This one tip will make the biggest difference. If you don't have to unbolt your Venturi nozzles for changing row configurations, then I thoroughly recommend that you seal them in, clean up all of those gaps, and your air system will work so much more effectively. As well as silicone around these. So all that effort is adding up to higher ground speed and less door blocks. It's really worth it. And the 6-inch tube could be shortened. Head 6, the nozzle has been sealed, and I didn't actually get a block in 6. This could be a little bit shorter, and even the 3-inch. If we shorten them to their minimum, we're getting more air. Before we do any trimming of that 6-inch air hose, we want our heads right down just on a flat surface, and we want every head in position in the widest row configuration that you're going to pick. Let's trim the excess off this 6-inch air hose. So I've made sure I've got my heads in their row. This one has a guess row averager. I've got it at its widest, so it'll never have to be longer than I'm going to cut it to. So I'm just going to take this much off to start with. And you need a strong set of side cutters to get through this wire. All right, let's run with that. That's got that curve lessened, and it really does improve airflow through those heads. So let's shorten this one a bit now too. Is that much off? Yeah, that's a lot better. I like that. Yeah, that is going to improve things. Head 6 looks good there now. You can see here that heads 4 and 5 can certainly have some of those bends taken out, the 6-inch, and we can shorten those 3 inches as well. Some of them can be a real pain to get to, but it's worth the effort. It's definitely a lot easier than 200 unnecessary head blocks through the season. And it's important, I come across the odd machine that has these pipes fitted backwards. There's this arrow here for direction of airflow. There's our directional arrow on the 6-inch. It is really important that they are fitted the right way. This is another common mistake I see on a lot of machines. The little doffer door at the back of the cabinet gets fitted in that wrong hole, and it leaves quite a large air gap, and it's right next to the chute. So yeah, again, it's letting a lot of cheap air in. It should be in that front hole, and I don't know why that second hole's even there. I think we should blank them off so it stops happening. You can go more extreme if you like. Some people do, but these ones are the main ones. Seal that Venturi nozzle into the chute. Seal that chute assist manifold, both front and back. Trim those 6-inch and 3-inch air hoses to take unnecessary bends out of them. Ensure the air hoses are the correct direction, and make sure those doffer doors are in that correct hole so that there's less gaps around that doffer door. We used to accept a wider tolerance in the older machines, but most people now agree that it's well worth the effort to get your bar heights to a 2 to 3 thou range from highest to lowest. It takes a bit of effort, but you will be rewarded with cleaner spindles, less component wear and damage, and less costly downtime. When the baler belts are good, they're very good. But if you break a baler belt in the field, you are in a world of hurt. It's become common practice to replace the baler belt pins on an annual basis, and there may be more than one per belt. Clearly we want to check all the belts for damage first, but once we're happy with them, here's a trick to remove them really easily by grabbing onto the end with a drill chuck. It works a treat. We're now on to the 770 specific issues. Let's start with that engine breather. I'm really hoping this issue will be fixed by John Deere and the dealers on every 770 for this coming pick. But make sure you don't still have that breather dropping oily air into the engine bay. The left side fan ingests it and gets dirty and out of balance. This is the worst one I've seen. And this left side cotton fan is staying spotlessly clean. That exhaust gas getting sucked into this left cotton fan is just a killer. That's how clean it should look. The handler on the CP770s is different to the older machines. The old girls have 4 beams and cutouts between them that our meter rows kind of fit in. The 770 has 5 beams and no cutouts. Our meter rows run almost beneath one of the beams, and to make matters worse, there's a crossbar that has a forward-facing edge, meaning it almost acts as a cutting edge. It fully pulls stalks from the ground and leaves a much bigger gouge than the old machines when you're dropping a module off in the field. And that really did make life harder for the mulchers, root cutters and subsequent operations. People have been fabricating their own handler plate so that it will skid along out of 3mm steel, or a lot of the local engineering works are now folding them up. This one's from Gundy Engineering, I believe. There's a really strange thing with all the CP770s I've seen, where the wrap floor belts, it's a V belt, but the back of the belt is running in a V pulley as its idler. Some machines seem to get away with it better than others, but plenty of people reported destroying multiple sets of wrap floor belts before they changed to the flat idler. It just makes no sense having the back of a belt running in a V pulley. This is how they all came, and I just don't understand it. So a lot of clients have changed over to a flat pulley like it should be running on. The part number's here, it's off a mower deck apparently, and you need 8 of them. So hit pause if you want to see that part number, and this is what it should look like. Retrofitting a high volume solution strainer to CP770s has been really popular. One, it's now in an easy to access spot, but two, and best of all, that purge tap on the bottom of it is brilliant for repriming the pump. After cleaning the strainer and turning that main valve back on, a 5-second blast on that purge tap pulls all the air out of the system, and the pump normally just primes straight away when you re-engage the fan to get back to work. It's much quicker and easier than the pokey little filter that comes standard and that annoying and slow bleed valve. Here's a good look at how they're plumbed into a CP770. A lot of people are doing it, and it really does make life easier. So there's my Aussie ready for 2025 season. It is a shame that we have to do these things to these expensive machines, but it is worth it. So let's just get on with it. If you would like to talk about the operator training, I will be doing the lap from Emerald to Griffith area, and would love to chat with you. Contact Christina or myself on these emails and phone numbers. Thank you.